Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about encapsulation. Uh, so let's get right into it. We delete what we don't need. Okay, today encapsulation. Okay, what exactly does encapsulation mean? It means to to make sure the sensitive data is hidden. Data hidden. So we are gonna make sure that the sensitive data is hidden. So like we have already seen in the previous tutorial that there are private variables. So now is the time to implement those private variables and see how those private variables come in action. So let's create another, not the project, let's create another class. So let's create another class. Let's name this encap class just to make it simple. Let's go to that class. Okay, now we can see that we have another class. Uh, Now we're gonna be implementing the encapsulation using this class. We don't need any constructor here already. So the reason that we have this class is to make sure that whatever we instantiate here in this class, whatever variables we have or here are gonna have a restricted access. When I say restricted access, that means they are going to be private and they cannot be accessed out of this class. Okay, there are a lot of times you're gonna come across people saying Pojo class, Pojo class. Uh, in a terms, this is a Pojo class. Okay, so let's get to it. String name. Okay, right now this is a global variable. So this is a public variable by default. Like we know now, this can be accessed out of this class, but we want to restrict it, so we have to use private. So private p, we have to use private. So now this is a restricted object. Restricted access to this. Okay, now this the private variable cannot be accessed out of this class. So, but there are a lot of times we would want to access this variable, and how we can access this variable is by using getters and setters. Okay, so by using getter and setter. Okay, there's a simple way to do getters and setters too, and if you do not want to type too much, then all you have to do is just right click, and right click you have to go to source. In source you have to select getters and setters. Once we select getters and setters, it's going to show if it is more than 2, then it's going to show more than 2. Let's do more than 2. Private string age private int 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 what should we name it? Int oh, it should be an integer. Int let's do this string. What should we name it? Name it. Car. Okay. So this is just what kind of car a person owns, and this is the name of the person, and this is the age of the person. Pretty simple, right? I'm sorry. Now we can go to source and go to getters and setters, and now we can see like we have all these variables here where we can decide which one we want to have getters and setters to. Let's say we want a getter setters for age, we want a getter setters for name as well, but we don't want anything for car owned. Okay, so then we're gonna say generate. It's gonna generate getters, and it's gonna generate name setters as well. Now there is one thing that you will realize over here, it takes an argument, and this one does not take an argument. Whichever one takes an argument, we have to pass that argument to make sure that we are able to set the name. And when we set the name, this name, the argument that we send, is going to be assigned to this name, which is this one. So indirectly, we are accessing this variable by using getters and setters. And whenever we want to have the access to the name that we assign, we can call the method that is get name to get the name of it. And we can see the return type of this method is a string. So that means whatever is going to be given by execution of this method is going to be a string. So let's see how we can call this. All right. So the encap class object encap class. So we create an object of this class. Now we can see when we use this object to see what is available to us, we can see like, I don't know, for some reason I'm sleepy. Okay, so we can access get age, we can access get name, we should be able to we can access set age, and we can access set name, but we are not able to access anything else of that class. So let's do get age first. Let's print get age first. Print. What? I don't know what I did, but okay. obj2 dot get age. So what are we doing is right now we are trying to print the age. Oh, this is not Dart. This is So usually in Dart, this is what you do. I'm sorry, I was making a Dart tutorials a minute ago. Alrighty. So right now we can see like we are going to access the age. So now we're gonna access age, get age. Right now there's no value to the age, so it's not gonna print anything. But then we're gonna access uh, after assigning a value to that age as well. So we're gonna see that as well. Age before assigning. Okay, now we're gonna assign the value to the age. How we can assign the value to the age is just calling set age. But remember we had an argument that we have to pass. So let's say uh, we can we can pass the integer argument to set the age. Let's say we pass 99, and now we want to print age again. So the difference is going to be over here, there's going to be any value to it, but over here there's going to be a value which is 99, which is going to be printed. So this is after. So let's save this and run the program. So over here we can see that initially there was no value to it, so it turned out to be 0, but whereas when we assigned the value it turned out to be 9. So instead of calling or getting hold of the variables that we have defined in the class, in here, the private variables, instead of calling them, we were calling the methods to make sure that we are able to assign the values and we are able to get the values of this. This kind of structure or this kind of encapsulation is very, 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 very common in today's world, and we're going to see a whole lot of implementation of this when we get to the spring section of the tutorials, where we will be using these Pojo classes to assign the values and constructing the responses and constructing the requests for our post calls, even for our get calls, and making sure like this is a structure that is being saved in the DB as well. So we're gonna get to that later on, but right now let's just get the hang of it. This is how it is a good practice to use getters and setters for. And next video we're gonna talk about is inheritance and polymorphism. So please like and subscribe. Thank you.